talk about meditation, specifically about why and how I suddenly like meditation after years of thinking that it wasn't for me. So the video you're about to see was filmed a couple days ago, and I wanted to make a couple things very clear just before we jump right into it. As I was filming this, I had a feeling the lighting was a little weird, but I didn't realize how weird it was because I was filming on my GoPro, which doesn't have a screen. Anyways, the video had so much good content in it that I really didn't want to refilm it, and I figured I'm going to put it up anyways. The things I say in this video still ring very true to me. However, I just wanted to make one thing very clear, which is that at one point later on, I say that I haven't had any emotional outbursts since I began doing meditation, and that it's super easy. So I wanted to clarify to say that since I filmed the video, I have had a few emotional outbursts, and it's because I stepped away from meditation and I really started to feel the struggle. So yesterday, I actually did meditation. It wasn't even like my best time ever. I had a hard time like just kind of settling my thoughts and being like calm and present, but it still had a really positive effect on me. If you're confused, basically the point of all this is to say that I think my views on meditation are going to be a little bit of a roller coaster ride. I think throughout my life, I'm going to struggle with it. I'm going to find it really easy, but what I'm really hoping is that mindfulness meditation is always part of my life because I've seen some extremely positive benefits from it. So anyways, let's get into the video. I just wanted you guys to know that if you struggle with meditation and you're like, she said it was so easy for her, what was wrong with me? It's not always easy for me. Sometimes I struggle with it too. But I think the number one thing is don't give up, don't judge yourself, read some online articles, communicate with people in the Fearless fam. Maybe people have tips for you. All I'm saying is if it's not easy for you the first time, don't be surprised and don't give up. Please don't give up because it can be so beneficial to your life, just like it has been for mine. Okay, now I'm actually gonna stop talking. Here's the video. So meditation. I struggled for a really long time with meditation, and it's because my perspective on it was extremely flawed. So meditation really appealed to me, and there were a lot of people I respect who were recommending meditation, like online and offline. So I tried it a few times, and I failed epically. Like, I got nothing out of it. I sat there and I tried to like get all the thoughts out of my head and just relax and like breathe and think about breathing. I don't know. I was like, what is this? Does this get better? So as I attempted and failed at meditation throughout the years, I eventually grew to understand it as something that's just like not for me. And then I'm gonna sound like an ad here, but this is not an ad. I started using online counseling, and I started talking to a woman who is freaking awesome. If you are one of my patrons over on my Patreon page, you have heard all about this. I'm not gonna go into a ton of detail here, but if you want to hear about how my like online counseling stuff is going, go subscribe to my Patreon. It's $1 a month or more, and you get access to all these videos. But anyways, I started using online counseling. This woman is all about mindfulness meditation. She's like, this can really, really help you. And she was asking me questions like, what is preventing you from getting into meditation? And I told her, I just don't think it's very productive. It doesn't seem like a good use of my time. I can't achieve this like blank state of mind. And then she totally schooled me, and I am so grateful for her. The three things that totally shifted my perspective on meditation were hearing her story of how she got into meditation, watching some videos that she recommended. They're very short. They were like a couple minutes each. And number three was reading a scientific article about why meditation is really actually good for you and is actually a very productive use of time. Now, I'm not going to share her story because it's not my story to share, but I am sharing my story with you right now, and a lot of the things line up. In the past, I was going into meditation with this idea that I was supposed to achieve like a blank mind. But that's actually not the purpose of meditation. Mindfulness meditation is about being present. The definition of mindfulness: a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations. Mindfulness is not about getting your brain to be empty. It's about kind of placing yourself out of body and looking at yourself as a human with a brain that is having thoughts. That's how I think about it. It might sound really funky to you, and you might think about it in a different way as you move on. But the main important thing is that as thoughts come up, as you're just chilling doing meditation, I used to be judging my thoughts. I would judge my thoughts and say like, why are you thinking about that right now? You're not supposed to be thinking. Stop thinking. Okay, stop thinking. 1, 2, 3, and stop thinking. And that didn't work. And that's really not how you're supposed to go about it. As feelings come up, as I meditate now, instead of thinking, stop thinking, why are you thinking about that? My thought process is, here's a thought. that I'm having, I recognize that thought and I let it go. I release that thought. And this takes a little bit of practice, and I'm not an expert at it by any means, but it does help me to just think, there's a thought that I'm having. Or if I have an emotion, I'm having a negative emotion right now. I recognize it, I calmly respect it, and I release it. I honestly didn't think that was possible for me to do, and it was way easier than I expected. Like literally, the first time I went into meditation with my new perspective after learning these 3 things, and we're not all the way through it. Don't worry, stick with me. Basically, I changed my perspective on meditation, and the first time I went into meditation with that new perspective, I came out of it with like insights. I was relaxed. It was like really good. It just felt good. Basically, when you go into meditation, you're not like feeding into any emotions, any bodily sensations, or any thoughts. It's okay and it's perfectly normal to have thoughts and emotions and bodily sensations when you are meditating. The way you deal with that is you recognize that it exists, and that's it. You don't feed into it. Essentially, you need to go into meditation with no expectations and the least amount of judgment you can possibly have. So essentially what you should get out of this is that the purpose of meditation is not to go into this state of like empty blankness. The purpose is to be conscious of the present and what is actually happening. I want to talk about the 2 other things that totally changed my perspective. I will link all of them down below. These videos that I watched, they're very short animated videos. One is called How Mindfulness Empowers Us, and the other one is called Mindfulness is a Superpower. It was like a childlike view of meditation and the benefits of meditation. And the one about how mindfulness empowers us really stuck with me because it was this whole idea. It was based on this like parable, like this old story. Actually, Eric has a big tattoo on his back about this story. I hope he doesn't watch this video. It's like the positive wolf and the negative wolf in your mind. One of the wolves is confident, happy, peaceful. The other one is anxious, angry, stressed. The wolf that will win is the one you feed. And basically, this is just a way to say that if you constantly are feeding into your negative emotions are going to win. If you're constantly feeding into your happy, confident, hopeful, intelligent, like logical thoughts, if you're feeding into that positivity, the positivity will win. And what mindfulness meditation does is helps me to recognize which emotions I'm having in the moment. It helps me to be present in the moment. Like if I'm driving in the car and I have a negative emotion, I'm not trying to feed into any emotions when I'm driving because that's kind of dangerous. So I recognize that I have a negative thought and I do my best to move on without feeding into the emotion. And this is just one look at how meditation is completely changing my life right now. But before we get into that, number 3 thing that totally shifted my perspective is a scientific article about how meditation can literally change your brain, which to me shows me that it is extremely productive. So basically, I'm not going to spoil the article for you because it's a quick read. It's very accessible. You don't have to be like a scientist to understand. I'm certainly not one, and I feel like I got a lot out of it. And outlines the hard science behind meditation. So literally like studies of the brain and how the brain is literally changing when you practice meditation on the regs. So yeah, those are the 3 things that completely shifted my perspective. So as much as I'm capable of meditating without guided meditation, I actually prefer guided meditation because I can be very easily distracted and it actually helps me to focus on what I'm doing. So I have found a couple different mindfulness meditation YouTube videos that basically I'll just put on my phone, and what I'll do is I lay on the ground and I'll just follow along. I will link them down below, the ones that I've really enjoyed doing. Now that I've done these like guided meditation videos on YouTube, I feel like I can come back to that moment where I'm in between my breaths and I can like pull that out of my back pocket when I'm feeling like super nervous. And breathing, it reminds me to be present. Ugh, I'm really sorry for the lighting. And now I want to talk about what I get out of it, like how it's affecting my regular everyday life. Some of the thoughts have been about past issues that I didn't deal with, and I don't know why. I haven't thought about these things in literally like more than a year, maybe years even, and it doesn't affect my daily life, but for some reason they like are drawn up from my past and they come up during meditation, and I have these thoughts and then I'll message it to my online counselor and then she helps me with it. But yeah, anyways, so these thoughts will come up during meditation, and my main thing that I do is I don't judge them. That is number one. Even if you're struggling to recognize it and release it, don't judge the thought. I think that's number one. I have had less emotional outbursts, and the reason being that I'm able to recognize those emotions popping up as they pop up and deal with them as nothing more than emotions, unless it's something that I should be emotional about, like my parents' dog recently passed away. So I was really upset, I was really sad, and I needed to grieve, and I cried. I just cried, and it was fine. It's not a bad thing to feel angry once in a while or to feel sad once in a while. But you are completely capable of recognizing when it is a good idea to feed into those emotions and when it's really not productive. Meditation has basically enabled me to more easily reflect on my daily life and reflect on my emotions and think before I act. Historically, I've been really bad about not feeding into my emotions. Like, I'll have an emotion and then I will immediately feed into it, and I'm really sensitive, and it'll be like either amazing and I have this like moment of mania, and then usually something bad will happen. Or I'll be like super depressed, and then all of a sudden it's this like downward spiral, and I'll just cry and be like, what's the point? And of course, sometimes I'm still gonna have those emotions in the future, but since I started mindfulness meditation, I actually haven't had any of those emotions. And I've had a period in between then. And basically, I'm just better at like capturing my emotions before I feed into them and making that decision of, should I feed into this or should I not? That's been the huge thing for me. And I'm sure as I continue on practicing mindfulness meditation, this is something that I need to be doing throughout my life if I want to keep seeing the benefits of it. I think it's going to be a really big thing in my life. I just have good feelings about it. So yeah, that's everything. If you want to try out the online counseling that I had mentioned in this video, I have a referral link down below. It's kind of like a friends and family referral link, but to be totally open with you guys, I will have an affiliate link for this online counseling service eventually. I actually started using the service way before they even reached out to me about becoming an affiliate. I logged on there as a paid user, and I'm still a paid user, and I have no regrets. It's worth the time, it's worth the investment, it's helped everything, and I honestly highly recommend them. So if you want to check out online counseling, give it a shot. I know there's a free first week. So yeah, that's down below. Other than that, if you want to see more stuff about mental health, my perspective on it, my journey with it, check out my Mental Health Monday playlist. I should probably change the title of that playlist to like just mental health videos. That's up in the iCards and linked down below in the description. That is full of a bunch of mental health videos, coping mechanisms, weird things I do because of anxiety, traveling with anxiety, etc., etc. If you have questions, you want to see a future video on some particular topic, put it in the comment down below. I will get to it eventually. I'm looking for video ideas though. So thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Okay, bye.